Welcome back to our C1 Table Talk. Hello, my name is Jarrell Black, Northside Neighborhood Integrations Manager for CelebrateOne. We're excited to have you here today with us, and if you're new to Table Talk, welcome. Table Talk is held every fourth Thursday of each month. We create this content based on the feedback that we get from you, our families. So if you have a topic that you would like to hear, or if you're interested in connecting with a community health worker, please reach out to us at one of our social media platforms or call or text at 614-570-3592. Today we'll be talking about fatherhood. Today we have David Fluellen, founder and CEO of Urban Family Development Center, and Mike Dean, the CEO of Mike Dean Inspires. Thank you both for being with us today. David, please tell us a little bit more about your program, Urban Family Development Center, and Dads to Be program.
Dads to Be is a prenatal education program that was developed to offer prenatal education to expected dads. The goal behind Dads to Be is to educate dads on their role during the pregnancy, during the birth, and then thereafter. So the whole goal is we want to make sure that dads have access to the same information that moms have access to. They feel involved in the process. They have support and resources necessary for them to be the best dad possible. We're confident that if we want to really address the infant mortality rate here in Ohio and frankly include dads in that conversation.
Mike, please tell us a little bit more about Mike Dean Inspires and your fatherhood program.
Well, I'm actually the CEO of Youth Over Us, and we have a YouthBuild program here called Franklin County YouthBuild. Pastor at Power City Church, and I author books. One is a bestseller, and YouthBuild is kind of my primary thing that I do, and we focus on young adults 18 to 24 who dropped out of high school or need another chance, and we provide them with training in healthcare, STNA, EKG, phlebotomy. We also provide construction training. We're adding culinary arts and cinematography to our program. We pay them so they receive a stipend. They earn while they learn. It's a 6 months to a year program. In fact, shameless plug, we need about 5 to 10 more young people. So basically, it's about change, right? And that's our focus. We want to help you figure out where you're going next and making your next move your best move.
I'd like to ask you both a series of questions. I'm going to go ahead and start with you, David. What is some good advice that you would give a new father?
Well, first of all, we like to inform our fathers that you're not going at this alone, right? And so we know that fatherhood is a ongoing learning process. I say it all the time, our babies don't come with a book on how to parent them, especially how to be a father. There's no manual for that. And so the first thing that we let our dads to know is that you're not by yourself, right? And so you have a network of other, not only professionals, but other men and other dads within our Dads to Be program that are working at the same goal. And that is simply to be the best dad possible. And so that's the first thing that I would say to a new and expected dad. Second thing I would say is be patient. Be patient, and then also be open. And what I mean by be open is be open to new strategies, be open to receiving resources that you may not necessarily think is a good resource or even make sense. Strategies that we share with our dads oftentimes totally different than the way that we were raised, concepts that we never heard of or thought about using with our children, but we know that the resources and the information that we give our dads are evidence-based, so they're proven.
For me, I look at it as a shoe, a big shoe that your feet can't fit into. And when I think about being a father, you grow into it. You grow into it. So you don't know everything. You don't have all the tools. I told my oldest child, she's 25 years old, One day she had a problem with me because your children have problems with you. And she said, Dad, why do you treat me so different than your younger daughters? And I said, well, because you're not hard on me. You're not hard on them like you were on me. Like if I would have said this, I would have got that. I said, well, when you were growing as a child, I was growing as a father. And when you first start out as a father, you don't really know who you are yet. You grow into that. And so now I'm more stable. And stability doesn't happen at the beginning. I don't care how much money you have. Being a father, you got to kind of fill that out. And it takes time depending on your situation, right? Everybody has different situations. There's an amalgamation of situations where you have, co-parenting. Maybe they're married, living together. So there's different strokes for different folks. So just kind of a blanket answer to your question is this is something you grow into, and there are growing pains, but there's benefits if you hang in there. And one more thing, I told myself, I made myself a promise because I had my first daughter was born when I was 18. I had to drop 17. I dropped out of high school, and I promised myself by the time she turns 5, she'll never know I sold drugs. She'll never know I dropped out. I'll be a different person. But it took work to get there, and so anything you do is going to take work. So that's kind of my elevator pitch version for a long conversation, if you will.
And no, I get it. I get that. What you tell your daughter, I tell my daughter all the time because she's the oldest, and it's always, well, why do you talk to me different than you tell him, and why can't I do certain things that he can do? So I feel you 110% when you're saying that. Definitely. Next question, Mr. Fluellen. What is the best way that a father can support a mother during and after her pregnancy?
Well, first of all, I would just say, first of all, be present. Be there, be supportive. Make sure that mom knows that you are 1,000% in and along for the ride. One of the things that we want to make sure that our dads know and understand, again, is your role during the pregnancy, which consists of a great deal of support to mom. And moms want to know and feel more confident when they know that dad is involved and dad is there. Again, attending hospital visits during the pregnancy, as many as possible. I know a lot of dads work and they can't, but attending those hospital visits, any type of prenatal education program, such as a moms to be or a dads to be. So yeah, to be there, be present.
And Mr. Dean, we know having a baby is stressful. We all know, as we are parents. What are some tips that you can share in dealing with stress, father?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. My first child, I was on the block. In fact, I named all of my daughters. I changed their name. Like I gave their names meaning. So my oldest daughter, her name means daughter of my hope. And so the stress that overcame me because number one, I was homeless. Number two, I was working at McDonald's flipping burgers for $4.15 an hour, and I didn't know what to do. And maybe this is for a father that's like, man, I'm about to have my first child. I just don't know what to do. Um, I was present, like Mr. Fluellen said, being there, um, because that's what the mom want to see, right? No matter what issues you may have with her, I think being there, because I actually missed the birth of my child. I wasn't there, of my first child, and I'm still hearing that from time to time. So I think being, because I was drunk, I'm not gonna lie, I was told I didn't know. Listen, I'm being honest. I didn't know what to do because I didn't have no father. I didn't have no clear role model. Nobody was really. All of my boys and my dogs were on the block. So I was so stressed out. So I think at the end of the day, being present, because if you're present, it is a present. It's a gift. asking questions, enjoying the process, right? Because it's a process to see your baby and know that it's bigger than you. This is a moment that God has blessed you with, right? It's a blessing to have a child, and just really enjoying that ride from there, but taking that moment to enjoy the beauty of your baby. I've never seen an ugly baby.
What are some of the warning signs, or what are some of the ways that a father can recognize that his significant other is going through those situations and maybe help out?
There's several signs of postpartum depression um, that we as dads can look out for. Changing eating habits. Uh, uh, Sometimes our partners tend to kind of stay to themselves. And so we know that this is real. And when we notice those things, as supporters, we have to encourage mom to seek help, right? And I know in our community, in African American urban communities, when you start talking about seeking help, most of the time people associate that with you being crazy or there's just this thing about getting counseling or help that is shied upon, unfortunately. But take be mindful and know your partner, right? So know your partner, know how she moves, know how she acts, and when you see something different, don't hesitate to say something about it. Sometimes they're there, but they're not there. So you're having a conversation with them, and they're just kind of off in another place. So when we see those type of signs, let's not ignore those, but encourage mom to get some help. And dads deal with it too, if I could just say that as well.
Absolutely.
Fathers deal with postpartum depression as well. And I know we men, we big, we bad. If you come from where I come from, you just did not openly express your emotions. You could be taken advantage of, and considered soft or weak. And so we oftentimes go undiagnosed and we go untreated when we start talking about mental health and postpartum depression, and depression as a whole. So be mindful of that, dads. Make sure that you are keeping an eye out because it's real. Make sure that you are noticing those changes in behavior. If mom's eating habit has changed, again, she's there, but she's not there. She's saying or having conversations about hurting herself, harming the baby, or harming you. And don't ignore that. It's real. And we got to do our best as men, as supporters, as partners, that when we see it, say something.
Mike, let me ask this question. So we know that in life we have to find a work-life, parenting, social life balance. What is the best way that a father can do that?
I think this is all wrapped around like there's no substitute for being present.
Mhm.
And like I have children that's involved. I have one child, she's in college, another two in high school. So I have four children altogether. And my youngest is very active in sports. But I run like three businesses, right? And I travel. And I have to make sure that I'm a part of all of that. And there's a balance. Now, you're not gonna always win, right? Because you gotta put on the bacon. Uh, we gotta eat, things that nature, pay for all those things. I mean, paying college tuition isn't what I signed up for. but but I think like for me, having a schedule, making sure the schedule is on your calendar, especially if you're a busy person. And when you're a leader, a lot of people pull on you all the time, no matter who they are, through text, emails. You have deadlines, so you have to be focused, and it has to be a part of your life. It has to be embedded in who you are and what you do. And for me, I actually care, and I enjoy going to games. Like last night, I was at a couple of games and I was cheering, I was hyped. I assessed the game, but I had a full day of meetings. I talked to lawyers, talked to my accounting, met with my staff, handled some projects, even on things that I'm working on. But when I get home, home is home, and sometimes it takes time for a brother to kind of digest the day and really be engaged. It like for me, I just can't come home and just flip that switch. I have to kind of just digress, if you will. And so I think all in all, I think making sure you are there, knowing what the calendar is, having it on your calendar, being present is important. And lastly, I'll say try to enjoy it. Even if you don't enjoy it, like try to learn something from it so you can have those conversations. Because you create memorable moments. You don't get these back. You don't get these moments back. So when you become an adult, if you live long enough, if you make it to 50, you are actually an adult longer than you were a child. So you have to try to find a way to enjoy your children.
This next question actually piggybacks off of that. Mom wants to always be there to do everything. She really wants to keep, she wants to be the, I don't want to say center of attention, but she wants to be able to do everything, which most moms are. They are they're just has a maternal instinct. How do we convince mom to let dad be a part of that?
I think it depends on your situation. It really does, and your background, your perspective. Because in my mind, if you're not letting me in, it's a problem. And number one, it's a problem with me if I can't get in.
It's true.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna fight for mine. Now, not physically going around beating anybody, but I'm gonna figure out a way to be a part of my child's life. So I think when you look at this, it's important to because sometimes women have trust issues. If they have multiple partners and things of that nature, then yeah, it could get kind of icky for the next man. So you got unresolved grief, anger issues, trust issues, unforgiveness, and if those things aren't addressed, grief issues, those things aren't addressed, then you can mess around and be a casualty of war. But I think convincing the mother by having those conversations, right? One of the things that I said to my wife before when she had our first daughter, her father came out of nowhere. He wasn't in her life. He said, "Let's go get an abortion." And so she called me and said, "Mike, my dad telling me to get an abortion. I need to have an abortion. He's coming to pick me up now to take me." I said, "Listen, I don't know what's going to happen with us, but I'm going to always be there for my child. Don't abort my baby." And so we had that kind. I think you gotta have a good relationship or a solid working relationship with your child's mother if you're not together. You have to, and so even if you have to go to some sort of counseling, some sort of mediary to help y'all, because it becomes about the child, the betterment of their future, their success. They already got issues because mom and dad is not together. Let's not make it worse because we're not making sound decisions that makes it better for you.
David, do you have anything to add?
I think the first thing is, and I think Mike said something about this. A lot of times we are, both mom and dad, unfortunately, coming from fatherless homes, right? So mom didn't have a father or a positive father figure in her life. Dad didn't have a positive father figure in his life. So we like to start with educating mom on the role of dad and why his role is important for the development of that baby. A lot of times they don't know, and I think Mike alluded to this as well. They're basing their relationship with the dad, they're not having the dad, and they're putting all that together, and they're making up in their mind, what they think a dad should look like or what they anticipate fatherhood role being. So first of all, just educating mom on the role that dads plays. Dads are central figure to the development of our children. And so when dads are not there, our children miss that component of development, and they go throughout childhood missing that component. They go throughout their teenage life missing that component, and they go on as adults having missed the opportunity to have dad in their life. And we don't want our dads, our children, to do that. So I think ultimately educating our moms on the role that dads play in the child's life. And although you guys may not have had the best relationship, although you guys may have split and it was a rough breakup, he hurt you, you hurt him, and many times we're still dealing with the hurt and pain from that relationship. All that may be true, but your child deserves a right to have a relationship with their father. And we tell our dads and our moms all the time to leave that door open. If dad is not even involved right now, leave the door open so when and if he does, the light does come on, or he does get the resources, or he does get that aha moment, that he can come and be a part of that child's life. But I think moms need to understand the role that dads play, and support one another. We're so excited about our dads to be programming our partnership with moms to be, because of the unique opportunity moms and dads together, that at least at this moment want to be together, right? And they want to make it work. And so we want to make sure that we educate and support those families at this moment in making their relationship work, so that we're not in a situation where mom doesn't trust dad or there's trust issues with mom. And so that will be my answer.
This next question is good for both of you guys. It's a little bit more on the serious side. When there is a loss of an infant for a father, they're deeply impacted also. What is some of the advice and the resources that we can give for grieving fathers? We'll go with you first, Mike.
Well, I experienced losing a child. He would be 24 now. I think my youngest daughter, my oldest child rather, she was running from a pit bull, and my wife, girlfriend at the time, she went to try to save her and failed. And he was, I want to say, 6 months inside her. She was 6 months pregnant, and I was devastated. I was hurt. Still to this day, sometimes I think about it. I had to, along with other issues I had throughout my life, I had to go and get counseling. I had to go to grief recovery. I didn't understand my STIRBs, acronym for short-term energy relieving behaviors. And so I had to understand what those are and were, and or is workaholic, isolation, excessive drinking, shopaholic, just kind of to name a few when it comes to STIRBs. And so I found myself needing to connect with people that that were positive, because the people that were negative in my life made me want to do negative things. And I think your environment, show me your friends, I'll show you your future, Dr. Marlborough said. And I had to challenge myself to get out that environment. And a lot of times the environment, you're thinking, you can get in trouble. One mistake can cost you your life in prison, or one threat. Anything nowadays can just have you locked up, and you'll never get to be that dad you want to be. So for me, I just, it hurt, and that's a real feeling, right? I had to cry, I had to express my anger. The person who let their dog loose moved out of the community that same day for some odd reason. But I just wasn't healthy then. Now looking back, hindsight 2020, for anybody watching this, I think you need just get some help. Now there's a lot of places like Dads to Be. You have Urban League, other places you can get help and to talk about it. Because one of the things that I know about being a man, it's underrated nowadays. And then we deal with a pressure that's unexplainable. And if you don't have an opportunity or avenue to release it, then you can suppress all of that thing and you can be bitter and walk in bitterness. So that's a quick version of that. But it's really sensitive. When you said that he was going to be my son, I have 4 girls. That was my only shot. And so I think about what he could have been. Would he have been in college? Would he have been in the NBA? You know what I mean? Would he have 2 girlfriends? I don't know. I know I'd have had the opportunity to have my son and love it. And he'd have been my namesake. So,
David, what's your thoughts?
Man, first of all, I'd like to say thanks for asking this question. It's something that we need to continue to talk about openly, because as I stated earlier, I think when we start talking about our feelings as men, it could be one of those situations where a lot of men won't want to be a part of that conversation. But I think the more that we talk about our emotions and grief and loss and trauma, I think the more acceptable it will be in most of our community's eyes and our population's eyes. I stated it earlier. First and foremost, letting that individual or those individuals know that you're there for them. It's one thing to go through the loss of a loved one, the loss of a child, depression, mental health. It's one thing to go through it in general, but it's another thing to go through it alone and not have anyone there to support you during this process. So first, let them know that you're there. You're not alone. And then again, I think it's important that we have a conversation about getting treatment, seeing someone, a professional, not your cousin, not your mama, your auntie and uncle and them, but a professional. Because a lot of times what happens is we get inaccurate information, or we get we mean things when we have those type of conversations sometimes, but sometimes we say the wrong things. They in a better place now. Like, no, no, they're not. The best place for them to be is here with me. And so I think that again, and then also, if I could say this, I think we have to do a better job in prevention. I know some things are, out of our control, but I think programs like YouthBuild and Dads to Be are starting to do a great job at preventing these type of things from happening. And so that was my answer. I know it was kind of long, but.
Oh, absolutely. Here at CelebrateOne, we focus on fetal infant mortality and reducing infant mortality. And one of the ways that we do that is through feedback of the community. During this month, we will be holding listening sessions for mothers, hearing their stories and can improve the birth experience and the outcome for our community. To sign up for these listening sessions, please sign up to our Facebook page and click the link, or give us a call at 614-570-3592. I'll also be sharing this I'll also be sharing the information in our chat, and those participating will be compensated with a gift card. Don't forget, don't feel like this is something that you have to do on your own. Like I said, give our community health workers a call, and we'll make sure that we follow back with you as soon as possible. I want to thank you both. You guys are doing amazing work out there. I am a father myself. Even though I was blessed to have a father in my life from the beginning, he was teaching me how to be a man and not a father. It's just something that I had to learn on my own. Thank you guys both for being with us. See everybody at the next C1 Table Talk. It was going to be Thursday, July 22nd. And look forward to seeing you. Have a great day.